Welcome to this episode of the People Dividend. I'm your host, Mike Horn, and absolutely delighted to host in our virtual studio today the escape artist. And I think you'll learn more about John Martinka. He is the escape artist as we talk about his contributions to the world of business, mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, sales. We'll explore it all with him. He is known for helping executives escape the corporate world by buying the right business the right way, for creating large exits for small businesses so the owner can exit their business with style, grace, and more money, and accelerating businesses so they can escape their plateau, often via growth by acquisition, dramatically increasing the value of their company. As I said, John is an author, I think his most recent book, along with his daughter, Jessica, who is also a principal in their business, Martinka Consulting. And it's an absolutely fascinating new book, 2024, Exit with Style, Grace, and More Money, creating a large exit for your small business. So, John, welcome to the People Dividend. Please say a little bit about yourself.
Well, myself in in a very short time period. My background is a lot of stuff in the small business world, not big corporate. I got into what I'm doing now in the M&A buy-sell world through serendipity. A friend of mine in a past Rotary Club, we were back-to-back presidents, got to know each other pretty well, and he one day said something along the lines of, I've always thought you'd be good in this business, and I really enjoy it. A lot of variety. You help people. They're making often the biggest decision they'll ever make in their lives, whether it's to buy or to sell a business.
For sure.
And in addition to that, I'm very proud of the fact that I've led for almost 20 years now a project with my Rotary Club and local school district. And we work in schools in the island countries of Antigua and Barbuda in the Caribbean. And when we get done in this upcoming February, we'll have donated over 10,000 computers to them over the years. And take students,
amazing.
they install Wi-Fi networks, they get hosted by local families. What a great experience for them. So I'm very proud of that.
That's quite amazing. And John, given all of your accomplishments and given the intersections that we have in our work around people, you're often dealing with it from an owner's perspective, an acquirer's perspective, a lot of emotion in that world, in that transaction.
Yeah.
But what I always talk about is people being essential to any enterprise. And maybe we just start out this conversation, since many of our listeners in human resources and other parts of businesses, how important are people, are employees in the M&A world?
Well, before I go into some of the reasons why they're important, I'm going to share a story I love to tell. It's about a business buyer and seller, and I work in the lower middle market. I'm not working with the large private equity firms and stuff like that. But there's no difference. It's about the people. A seller was very hesitant to have the buyer talk to the management team before the deal closed. The buyer was sitting across the table, desk from him, and looked him in the eye and said, "You may think I'm buying your company. I'm really buying your people." And that's what it's all about. There are a ton of value drivers out there, features that make a business more attractive to buyers. Now, I have four main things an owner should do to make their business more attractive and sell easier. And you'll note all four involve people. First one is having accurate financial statements and solid financial systems versus the owner, CEO, who looks at the accounting department as a necessary evil, sort of like Cinderella, the weak little stepsister. But good people in the accounting department make a huge difference in the company and what it's going to do, which leads to the second thing, growth. If you have the right metrics and KPIs, it can affect your sales, your strategy, your delivery. So the the people are affecting all that by making those sales and determining that strategy. Um, Another one is it's sort of flip side. An owner or CEO needs to reduce their dependency. The less they do, the better. Buyers want a team, not a business with one or two people who do everything important. And then finally, be able to attract and retain good people. Not a turnstile, but longevity with people who want to stay there and contribute.
And as you identify and as you've considered those and have put those principles into practice, how do people affect a company's value?
So that's a good question. Uh, and it's obviously, as we talked about, it's the financial performance. If they drive sales, if they produce a good product, if they're productive. But think about it from outside the company too. Uh, it, the customers, are people. And every size customer needs a good relationship with their customers, whether it's a B2B, where there is a direct relationship, or even B2C, where you put out a good product, a good service, you're going to have a good reputation, and it's your people that do that. What about suppliers? You want to have a good relationship with your suppliers. We've seen all the supply chain stuff that's gone on the last 5 years. I know companies. We had one client in particular had such a good relationship with their top suppliers that when they saw things happening with COVID, they were able to get their suppliers to give them a greater share of their production, so they didn't have the disruption their competitors did. Uh, Take it over to the money side, banking. Um, Banks want to work with people they like and trust. If you don't have good people working with the bank, uh, chances of getting a loan go down a little bit. Or and a loan doesn't mean trouble. A loan means growth takes cash, and doing well needs more money. Uh, so it really comes down to all those people and the correct people, the correct number of people, the quality of the people. I have a client right now, and we're having an outsourced CFO company do an assessment in the accounting department. And right off the top, they said, "I think we're going to find out that they are overstaffed, and they could be doing better with less people and not making work, more productivity."
And what's the result or what's the outcome of that?
Well, the assessment is going on right now.
I see.
It was says, "Thank you for the referral, and I can already tell you, I think we're going to find out they have too many people. When
Yes,
you have too many
that
people, they look
that
for things to do."
that happens. I recall early in my career, I worked at a consulting firm where the firm promised for every $1 million of client investment, there would be a 3-to-1 return. And it was generally in the form of productivity or improvements or labor optimization. There weren't any shortcuts to those kinds of savings that were available. And when you think about or when you consider, John, and the work that you're doing and the work that you have done, in the way that you've thought about these issues, what are the top people issues with lower middle market companies, and maybe all companies for that matter?
Oh, especially when you get to that lower middle market, the small, mid-size, etc. As mentioned, a dependency on the owner or the CEO,
Hmm.
or they are the only one who can do certain things, or they are the only one, and you can go through a lot of different stuff that they would do. Uh, that maybe it's the only one who approves all bids, or maybe it's the only one who has the key customer relationships. The big customers have to go through that owner slash CEO. Also, having a key employee, one who's the product or technical person who drives all that innovation or product tweaking in the company. And if they get hit by the beer truck and are out for a while, things come to a halt. Um, Another one is not having a good cohesive management team or management team depth. You see that a lot in your work,
Yes,
Mike.
right. In
Uh,
succession, right.
and I think we've talked in the past that just about every business publication always has an article on poor management and all of that. It's a big deal, and you need that good team. And then I would say just the lack of training, uh, expecting people to know what to do all the time, and tied into that delegating. Delegating's tough, especially founders and owners. They started the company. They know how to do it best, and it comes back to people who will say things like, well, I know I can do that in an hour. It'll take me 2 hours a couple times to train someone on how to do it to be 80% of what I do. I'll just go do it in an hour. And they do it over and over and over again.
Now, what led to the new book, Exit with Style, Grace, and More Money? Creating a large exit for your small business. What led to that?
Uh, what led to it was a previous book title. Previous book was more about what to do for a small mid-sized company to make it more attractive to buyers. Some of the things we've talked about. That book was titled "If They Can Sell Pet Rocks, Why Can't You Sell Your Business for What You Want?" It didn't go into too much detail on the actual process of selling a business, which is where Exit with Style, Grace, and More Money comes into play. And it goes through all the steps that are needed. I mean, it can't go into extreme detail, but it goes into the things an owner needs to be ready for. And I'll tell you, the first chapter has nothing to do with the business. It's about having that owner, that founder, be ready to sell, and what are they going to do with the rest of their life.
Now, John, given all of your experience assisting over 100 business successful buy-sell transaction, coaching and counseling, lots of owners and other advisors, the incredible work you described with Rotary, as you consider that, one of the things I loved in the new book, Exit with Style, Grace, and More Money, was this list of 20 reasons that you describe in the book.
Mm-hmm. 20,
And
yeah, 20 rules for exiting and selling. And
exactly right. That's
yeah,
the, and I think there's a lot of application there as I was reviewing it and thinking about it. There's a lot of application just in how you approach people with these lists as well.
yeah. Well, one of them, which I never put first because it always comes after cash, and cash flow are king. Because the more cash flow you have, the more your business is valuable. But if you flip it to employees, the more cash flow profits, the bigger the bonuses.
Right.
But the one that comes after that, and this is so important in what you do, what I do, what buyers and sellers do, the the queen is is relationships, and just like the on in chess, with the queen is the most powerful piece on the board, right?
Right.
And nobody buys from somebody they don't like or trust, at least in my world. Now you get up in the 100 million, $500 million deals, it's a lot of financial stuff and not much more. But in the lower middle market, it's relationship based. Who's going to take care of my people is probably the thing I hear the most, besides how much money can I get for the company.
Right. And in that, point 14 in 20 rules for exiting and selling is all about due diligence.
Yeah.
And I think you give a lot of good guidance around that in this recent book.
Yeah. Due diligence is a couple of things in there on it. Is first of all, it's anyone selling a business, it's open kimono time. The buyer, whether it's an individual looking for a job, a private equity group, or anyone in between, it, they want to see everything, and it's better to show them than have them uncover it unexpectedly. Um, and to give you a interesting definition, a friend of mine about 7 years ago sold his 60-year-old family business to a private equity group backed company in his industry, And he great term. He said they put me through a financial colonoscopy. So due diligence is proving what everything you've told the buyer. And if a buyer finds out something that you didn't tell them and should have told them, they're going to wonder, what else are they hiding?
Might relate that to the topic of transparency and leadership. And also your, point 6 in the 20 rules for excellent in selling. Um, I think about these as qualities of successful leaders, being confident, working at the right pace and speed, creativity, innovation. Without innovation, businesses fail.
Yeah, I mean, just the day we're recording this, the Wall Street Journal has an article about the we'll call it the trauma at Starbucks, Boeing, and Nike, and what they're all going through. I mean, long-term established brands that a lot of people love. They're all going through that. Did they innovate correctly? Did they not innovate too much? I mean, that's what Starbucks CEO is saying. We're going to cut the menu down. Too many choices, which makes it hard on the employees, right? If they have,
Yeah,
they have
there's a lot of
too much.
angst in that organization right now.
Yeah.
Uh, John, it's been so good to be in conversation with you and having a chance to talk about your new book and your ongoing work at Martinka Consulting. Where can our audience find you, and where is that?
Well, they can go to Martinka Consulting, Martinka consulting.com. We have a sister company, and one reason being uh, my daughter has ownership in that company. It's Nokomis Advisory, Noko MIS advisory.com. And that does selling companies taking the market. The Martinka Consulting works with companies looking to grow by acquisition, and just doing some prep work on getting it ready.
Oh, that's great. And we'll have all of that in the show notes. And John, if you were to give our, just as a way of wrapping up, our audience one piece of guidance for 2025, what would that be?
Well, for 2025, it's not much different than all other years. And I'm going to just finish with a few things from chapter 2 in the new book.
Hmm.
Uh, what should owners and CEOs do and not do? Well, what they should do is be able to manage to some varying degree people, processes, money, and enthusiasm. Be able to work on strategy and vision and growth and acquisitions and things like that. Do less, delegate, take vacations, and show leadership. What they should not do is anything below their pay grade, with the caveat that sometimes it's just stuff they want to do and they have the time to do it. But not do any kind of day-to-day work like accounting, HR, routine sales calls. And I've seen this not just in small businesses, but in solid lower middle market companies with 8-figure valuations. The owner is, if it's below your pay grade, get someone else to do it.
Good advice. Thank you so much, John Martinko. It's been uh, great and wonderful to be in conversation with you today. And to everyone in our listening audience, drop us a like wherever you listen, whatever the platform is. And until the next episode of The People Dividend, stay well.